those are probably the most consistent players in the entirety of HGC. I have never seen a game where I was like, man, Loktar really screwed that one up, or Infinity didn't deliver. It's normally the chickens, the Wangs, or the Saws in the team that kind of fall short. And if I were Infinity or Loktar right now, I would be like, guys, can we just play normally here? No more experiments, please. Can we just tear things apart? And they're going to try to do exactly that on Infernal Shrines now. RPG with their backs against the wall. One more loss and they're going to go home empty-handed. Whereas KT, all they need to do is win once more. And they're going to get some much-needed 3 points if they want to make a stand here and still play an important role for the remainder of the season. Very important. Keep in mind, this is where it matters. This is where it comes down to going to BlizzCon or not. And we're diving into the action here for draft number 2 on Infernal Shrines. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Tetra, by the way, I haven't received any updates on his status, so I apologize, guys. I apologize. But I'm pretty sure that he's working double time to find a solution. But if there really are some construction works going on, then there's only so much a man can do. Now, first ban on KT's side here, because RPG were going for the battleground. It's actually something we see a lot in China. Or, I shouldn't say a lot, but more and more. That the losing team from game 1 decides to go for the battleground. The Haka ban seems good. I mean, the Haka is just such a versatile hero that fits into almost any team comp. He's so deadly when it comes to, you know, getting value elsewhere, while the opposing team is wasting a lot of resources for those skeleton minions, the skeletal guardians. And oftentimes similar, excuse me, no. Oh, excuse me, this is Infernal Shrines, never mind, I was correct. But I was going to say, like, I was going to draw a parallel to Cursed Hollow, like we saw it earlier, where you actually can afford to ignore the map objective over and over again and still get more value in the end than you would have gotten if you had gone for the objective. Because here in Infernal Shrines, the early punishers aren't even that scary. Like, you bait them on the wall, and then those fall relatively quickly. Now, KT is going for the exact same strategy that I recommended earlier. They're picking the Auriel once again. And now RPG is like, do we let that Uther go through again? Do we really want to play against that pesky double support again? Or are we just going to pick it ourselves? And if they pick it themselves, KT is going to be like, well, we go regular Auriel. Gotcha, suckers. No, I mean, Auriel can be paired with almost any support. Even a Karazim would work really well. Even a Tyrande would work really, really well. Tyrande being a pretty popular hero in Hero League these days. And also in other HGC leagues, we have seen her pop up quite a bit. Of course, the Owl build is what I'm talking about. So, let's see. Oh, did Tetra just tweet out something? Let me see if he tweeted something like, oh, if he doesn't even get fiber and he still has a disconnect, that might be twice as bad for him. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to send a lot of energy towards Tetra's place, wherever that might be in England. And hopefully his internet issues will come to an end. Maybe some divine intervention. That would be really sweet. All right. Yeah, speaking of RPG's picks here, by the way, they decided to go for the Lunara, which is fine. I think KT's Lunara just wrecked house. On the flip side, though, there's still a Vala to fall back on. And they did let the Uther go through again. I can't believe. I just can't believe that this happens once again. Like, they're going to have to... They better have something prepared against this double support. Now, traditionally, we saw that Chromie can be really good against Auriel and Uther. And keep in mind that Loktar, the gentleman in the bottom left here that you guys get to see right now, he's an outstanding Chromie player. He's a monster on that hero. However, Chromie did receive a rework. And since we're playing on the Kel'Thuzad patch here on China, Loktar might be like, I'm not really sure how to skill her. I'm not really sure how to play her. It's a little bit different, but she's still a good hero. But do we really want to risk it? And I say yes. I don't think Chromie has changed that much that a player of Loctar's caliber can't make her shine anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to go for. Chromie comes to mind. Malthael actually would have been a great choice. I don't understand why they banned it. Malthael's Touch of Death, anti-healing. It's a chicken hero. He plays him very well. And they would have been first pick after the banning phase. So I think they didn't even have him on the radar. I think they were like, nah, we're not going to pick him. So we denied from the enemy team. But I think it would have been a great choice for them, to be honest. Thank you, by the way, for sending so much energy over to Tetcher. Really, really good to see how you guys support him. So they go for the Sonya and they go for Malfurion. Used to be the god tier healer. Then his rework happened and he fell off very much. Still a good support in my opinion. I'm still going to stay true to my word saying that Malfurion is a underutilized hero. An underused support in general right now. Especially against double support, I feel that he can be really powerful. Like the Twilight Dream is still a potential game-changing heroic ability. If you manage to hit both Uther and Ariel and then focus someone down while they're still silenced and weakened, you can really win teamfights like that. So I like the call. I like the call by RPG. Sonya, how many interrupts do they have on the side of KT? Not really that many, only Uther. They could, of course, pick a hero like Murden. Butcher has been playing this hero quite a bit. Oh, is this the exact same draft bar Stitches here? I think it is. And bar Lunara. Holy cow. That Neptune Alrank, they seem to be really confident about this, and I like it. I mean, speaking of interrupts for Sonya, Alrank basically has two. While the shove doesn't interrupt the spin, it still pushes Sonya away from healing herself. And the silence, of course, coming in from the Discord Strike is definitely going to shut down that Sonya. I like it. So what is left to pick here for RPG? Either they go for double support themselves, or they go for a playmaking hero. A hero that puts even more pressure on the side of KT, like a melee assassin, another ranged assassin. There's still mages left to be picked. And they go for the Chromie. That is the Loctar hero I wanted to see. And isn't it cool how we could kind of predict what both teams were going for? Given the fact that I did this analysis all by myself, I'm a little bit proud. I think I did a good job.
You did alright.
Hey! Fantastic entrance. What's up, my man?
The sky is up, the ceiling is up. Even the internet could not keep me down for long. Although it turns out the cables outside are not fiber, according to the workers out there. They're replacing a faulty line, so bollocks! Either way! What was the score of the first game?
Unfortunately, KT won in very dominant fashion.
Bugger, but it's fine. Revenge can be paid as we are preparing for game number 2. I saw a Chromie, and that's about all I saw before I was just said hello.
So the thing is, KT went for a very similar comp compared to last game. They only switched out Lunara for Vala and the Stitches for Johanna, but they still have the Oriel Uther double support, which looked extremely strong. And, you know, RPG, they switched it up a little bit. They picked comfort picks like the Chromie, as you said, and they're looking much scarier now, especially with that Sonya. So I gave sway to them in terms of individual class last game, but I thought KT had the better draft. This time I think they have the better players and the better draft.
Alright, I'm down for it. Let's see if that is correct. We've already seen that RPG with certain comfort picks can be almost impossible to beat, but it always seems to be the case where they just forget how to draft and then remember in game number 2. Exactly. Either way, guys, we are heading into game number 2. It's RPG versus KT. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we've even had a chance to sink, introducing the team on the left, it's RPG, with Chicken on Sonya, Wang on ETC, Sarah Malfurion, Infinity on Chromie, and Loctar on Lunara.
And their opponents currently leading in this series 1-0. They are Kudos top with T-Dye on the Ariel. We have Alrek played by Neptune, Genshu and Uther seeing on the Vala, and Johanna being played by Butcher. And Tetra, let me tell you this. Neptune on that Alrek went to town last game. He dismantled RPG single-handedly, going for an unlimited power E build on Alrek, which is something we're not normally used to seeing. So he went for a different route than, let's say, Darkmog on Team Liquid yesterday, which I mentioned many times because he was just basically manhandling the opponents yesterday as well.
Fair enough. I'm down with it. I'm excited to go back and watch the VOD, but for now, let's see what he can do in this game. As for now, KT just sticking with the 4-man rotation, trying to take some control over the map. RPG, very passive beginning, because they, by the looks of it, wanted at least to try and kill Alarak in the top lane. But Alarak played a bit too far back and a bit too safe for that to happen.
Exactly. Now, we're going to pay special attention to Locktar, not just because he's a fantastic player to basically always pay attention to, but also because Chromie, she did get a rework. She's still fairly equal or fairly same to what she used to be, but, you know, she now has a trait mechanic allowing her to create a sand clone after hitting 80 enemy heroes with her Q, with the Sand Blast. Now, funnily enough, the new talent mounting sand at level 1 was ignored. Instead, the Chromie build once again revolves around Time Walker's Pursuit, which in my opinion is a good choice, because Time Walker's Pursuit still gives you so much utility. Gives you vision, gives you mana regen, and a little bit of additional spell power.
Yep, it's good in every semblance. Not that useful if, much like all heroes, you were to die, as Valor just did, get absolutely destroyed, as First Blood does go over to RPG. Chromie sticking once again in familiar territory for the moment, taking the Bronze Talons.
Yeah, the Bronze Talons still a solid choice in my opinion. The Bronze Talons, you know, not only does it provide additional burst damage if you plan on going Temporal Loop, for example, which I wouldn't recommend here because there's Crystal Aegis and Divine Shield potentially on the enemy side, but it's just strong burst damage follow-up in general, and most importantly, it also allows you to stay further away from heroes like Alrek because it increases your basic attack range by default. So, very safe talent option, very cool in general. And also, it is worth mentioning that we don't see a lot of Malfurion these days, so we're going to pay special attention to his build as well. Going for the Moonfire build thus far. It's a quest talent at level 1. If you complete it, more wave clear.
And for that, we should see full Moonfire. No, going for Loons. That's also the other acceptable talent here. So going to have a little less AoE, but a bit more range. Good stun by Wang. Double root is landed. Uther's the target, but Genshuo with that armor a bit too sustainy. Right now, though, very, very even in terms of these undead minions.
Once again, Neptune, by the way, on the Alrek for KT, he goes for that same E unlimited power build that we saw last time. Kind of nice. It's a very close race.
39, 37. Oh, it's going to KT as RPG. They do retreat. Good telekinesis. The root just drops just in case, and everyone else pulls back behind the wall.
Yeah, Sonya, of course, immediately rotating towards the middle and now towards the top, so she'll get all that juicy XP that they really need. And, you know, that first Punisher, despite the fact that it's an Arcane one and those are normally the deadliest ones, it's not going to achieve a whole lot. They're probably going to get 1 or 2 towers, and that's about it. And with that constant poke from Infinity on the... Hey, wait. Locktar isn't even playing this. Lockjar plays the Lunara, so I was on the wrong foot all along, but still, Infinity, that's that's the cool thing about RPG. We talked during this about the draft as well. They have 2 of the most consistent damage players in the league, and if RPG doesn't look good in a draft, for example, or in a game in general, it's usually not because of Infinity or Locktar, it's usually because of someone else having a wonky day, let's put it this way.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so... we see Locktar back it up. Good hit there with the Sandblast. Also, I'm telling you now, because I've literally just been told, apparently the internet people have just told me that they're cutting off the internet at 10 AM. So it's a good thing we don't have a show tomorrow. Hooray! Fantastic luck there.
Perfect
As
timing.
we do some flag movement, it looks like he wants to attempt to steal on this. Ironskin could prevent it. Knockback for the start. Tries to power slide out. Realizes they're a bit outnumbered here. Able to pull back, but the camp does go over to KT.
It was a nice try, but it was also good that they didn't fully commit on it. Sometimes, you know, Chinese teams, they like to go crazy over even smaller objectives like a Merc camp here, but no, this time RPG was like, nope, we're not going to risk it. The enemy team still has all the numbers here. It's going to be a 4 versus 4, and the risk is just too high. Although they had the level 7 talent advantage, maybe that would have been something in their favor. But as of now, both teams are going for the mirror impaler camps here, and both teams are gearing up and setting up for that second shrine phase.
Alarak going with the applied force at level 7. He's taken negatively charged and extended lightning, and but he is able to tank his way through another sandblast though. More stacks for Infinity. Wants to get that inbuilt quest for the Q stacked up as quick as possible.
So once again, for the Chromie, she no longer has this level 20 talent called Past and Future Me. Instead, those sand clones will now pop up after landing 80 sand blasts throughout the game, which normally doesn't happen before level 16. Some Chromie players can really make it work at 13 if they're having like a really good game, but for the I wouldn't expect it earlier than 16 or 15 maybe.
Yeah, and the fact is, she is oh, hang on, lots of poison damage. This Lunara damage working well. As Wang doesn't take too much. Another sandblast hits Genshwo, which is not good for him because he's very low on mana already.
And I'm so glad that we don't see the Temporal Loop here either, Tetra. I think that Temporal Loop is a little bit too predictable. There's the possibilities of a Divine Shield later on. There's the chance of Crystal Ages. And then Chromie will basically not have any use, any value from heroic ability.
Very true. This is a lot safer for her. And also, it's the slow is once again not affected, but... sorry, the slow is going to be huge against Johanna, because yes, Ironskin can walk through it, but then you have to walk back if you wish to retreat.
Exactly, very true. It's a great shrine control, it's great utility in general, and it combos off really well with Sa's Malfurion roots. Keep that in mind. Like, if you're slowed, you're having a much easier time to actually land those roots, which are sometimes tricky to land. In the meantime, though, we see RPG going deep. They're going ham. They want more than just the fort.
A beautiful detainment strike from Ariel prevented Wang from going too deep there, so very nicely done. I'll be interested to see what talent is picked on level, I guess for Chromie it would be 11, due to her trait. She has a new talent on level 13, her level 11, and that is Here and There. She still has Timeout, which does the same as it used to, and Bye-Bye, but she now has Here and There, allowing her to swap with her Sandblast Echo. But if she's not doing too well on the stacks, there's a good chance we could still see the timeout. But I would like to see this new talent be used.
It would be cool if we saw it. We're going to find out in just a few seconds. But I think the timeout is still too powerful. Somewhere Trixler in A is having a huge He's like, scream.
But why aren't they paying attention to Bye-Bye? They went with Bye-Bye.
Oh my god! Okay. I can't believe...
Get Tricks Tricky Meta coming in as we do see Chromie with the Bye-Bye. Awesome. Let's see how it works. So as the Fallen Shaman takes a chunk of damage.
Here's the thing. If Alarak and Johanna, or maybe even Uther, or maybe even the Vala, or maybe even the Ariel, basically anyone, if they were fast enough to use one of their crowd control abilities while the Bye-Bye animation is started, it gets cancelled, and you can demolish the Chromie. Whereas with the timeout, I think it would have been a little bit safer because you would be able to buy more time. Your teammates could show up and save you. It's a risky call, but a flashy one if it works.
Okay, so I will say, the two new reworked heroes, there is a bit of synergy here where I personally think taking Bye-Bye on Chromie is acceptable if you have Morales on your team and you take like the Waypoint Medivac. So Chromie just bees out the fight, Medivac's dropped, and Morales flies her back in while Morales stays in the fight.
I mean, you would have to get to level 20 first, which is not a given fact if you go for those talents.
But now, though, they're not going for an objective fight. RPG
this
are
is
pushing in mid lane, trying to get some value onto that mid keep, or at least the front wall.
Yeah. They're not even trying to go for a fort, they're trying to pressure the second keep wall. This is actually very smart, because if the next shrine is ever going to happen in the middle and they get the Punisher, this might be a guaranteed keep, like 100%. So, kind of cool to see that. And they might even just shift to the bottom now. That's exactly what they're doing. Like, they're completely ignoring the shrine. They know they can't make it there anyway. And they're like, hey, even if KT gets this Punisher, well, guess what? We're 13 and they're not. So they can't really push and commit anyways.
We do see the RPG trying to make a play. They have full vision of this. Once again, with the Timeless Wisp, and the vision they get from that level 1 talent of Chromie, they have crazy vision. This is why they've been rotating so much, because they do have this map control, this map of this map awareness, thanks to those 2 talents, and as such, they would have picked themselves up another 4. They've taken down the front lane, and with their level 13 talent advantage, they're trying to force something.
Wang has now completed his proc rock as well, providing additional AoE healing whenever he uses the guitar solo, which is kind of nice. Now, we also see that KT left 2 skeletons, they left them basically, because they realized if we get the Punisher now, it's all nice, but never mind. They still want to go for a fight, 12 against 14? Please don't.
Chicken arrives back. Okay. They were trying to put some pressure onto Chromie, potentially force a B out, but Chromie was pretty comfortable, was very patient, very comfortable, and has now hit her level 16, okay, the level 14 talent for Chromie, which is going to be... We don't know how stacked she is. We know she's not complete. So it's a good question whether she wants Quantum Overdrive to continue with the W build, or whether Shifting Sands or Fast Forward might be more preferable.
To be honest, yeah, I was going to say the Quantum Overdrive is just the most reliable one. And look at KT, they know that something's fishy here. They realize that something wasn't right, you know? The skeleton counter didn't really go up, so that showed that nobody was at the shrine. They didn't really see them elsewhere, no mercenary camps were taken, so it had to be an ambush. So they used the information they got from the minimap and the overlay in general to their advantage and did not go for a trap here. Really well done. Now, 13 is so close. They just need to get it. They only need 2 more skeletons as well. Keep that in mind. Yeah,
and the question is, can RPG zone out at a full 5-man roster?
I'm not
Absolutely
sure.
Not. Neptune moves in, a little bit of lightning. They're holding it for the moment. Chicken is committed. Good power slide. They're zoning it out. This is the slowest attempt ever. Seeing gets dropped a little low by the Chromie. Chromie has Quantum Overdrive up.
Wow.
Good vault by Seeing. Able to survive. Neptune snipes the Punisher in the background.
Oh,
Punisher has to be Divine Shielded. Is the poison going to keep ticking through?
Oh, no,
kill him! He's fine,
my god.
Fine.
I think
the
health regen from Richard the Racemaster at level 1, I think just saved Johanna, best talent in the world.
Clutch.
Oh my god.
Very clutch. Oh dear. Wow. Patience. Patience being shown there. That Punisher got wrecked. Did not get much value there. No. As we do see RPG cleaning that up, very nearly picking up a kill, and they continue to hold their lead.
Yeah, they hold their lead, as Tetra said. Very, very important here. Level 16 is all they need, and then they can finally get back to applying a little bit of pressure. Now, I like what RPG is doing. They're kind of making sure that they split up their resources as evenly as possible. Like, oftentimes in Hero League or Team League, you will find teams just wasting too many heroes for just one Mercam, right? So, using, let's say, 5 heroes to just get this Bruiser Camp would be an overcommitment. Whereas KT, of course, they need to use 5 heroes because they can't afford to get caught, right? If someone were to invade here, they need to make sure that they have 5 heroes here. So it's a really cool display of when to use 5 heroes to clear Mercamp and when to not use them.
Yeah, and again, so RPG, the person who's doing the solo mercenarying is Sonya, who normally, even at this stage in the game, doing a solo camp with Sonya isn't ideal in case the enemy team's 5-man rotating.
Yeah.
But Sonya took Mystical Spear, so she has that escape potential, which makes it a lot more acceptable.
Very good point. Like, if the enemies were to invade her, she can just peace out, spear over the wall, and safe is the Sonya. By the way, we never really checked. What is your latency on the broadcast? I'm saying it's 7. Oh, perfect.
Close enough.
There you
go. We'll take it. As we do see RPG, again, putting on pressure. They've got a Fallen Shaman camp up here. There's a couple dogs with already summoned for it, taking a couple shots, as the fort is dropping low, tower already taken out.
Yeah, and we now see that the Time Walker's Pursuit has been completed for Chromie, so she gets a little bit of ability power, causes her to hit even harder. We see that her trait, though, the Past and Future Me clone, so to speak, is not there just yet. I would love to see at how many stacks she's currently sitting. I would assume probably like between 50 and 60, because, yeah, I think that's probably a good guess.
I'm going to go with 41.
Nice.
We'll see if it's brought up. As we do see Infinity try to poke in. And good silence onto ETC, forces them back a bit. Mosh is available, so once again, this is risky, considering especially they don't have level 16 yet. Perhaps dropped.
Yep. Here we go. Now let's see. Oh my goodness, those spears, those splinter spears just spread out like crazy. Just in case you were wondering why the range on those were so huge, it's the Starwood Spear talent 16. Now, hold on. Wang in trouble, receives a Malfurion regrowth, and also uses his own self-healing provided by the guitar solo. But that was very close. If Wang had died here, this would have been a guaranteed Punisher for KT. As it is, I think RPG is probably going to get the advantage here. Beautiful Q snipe over the wall by Infinity.
Yeah, nice chunk of damage there coming in. Look at T-Die, very patiently hiding in this bush, waiting for his opportunity to drop the Aegis if it's required, as Chromie just continues to siege in and just drops lots of poke damage. All she really needs to do doesn't need to be the crazy, I'm going to one-shot heroes because I can. All you need is just consistent poke, and that can be enough to keep the control that RPG already have.
While RPG is setting up and posturing up for a mighty push here, I do want to highlight a nice talent synergy on ETC, the aggressive shredding at 16, which causes auto attacks to lower the cooldown of your E, and the prog rock. So you're going to have the AoE healing effect of prog rock more frequently because of the cooldown reduction. I think this is a mandatory, a necessary talent synergy you have to go for if you go prog rock. So well done by Wang. In the meantime, RPGs ignores this Punisher and they go for the top keep, which was kind of exposed here in the meantime. So great value, and the Punisher is still dealing a lot of damage for future pushes. So great play by RPG, really playing the map and maintaining a safe and secure lead.
Yep, 1 and a bit keeps available for them.
57,
by the
there
way.
we go.
Yep, 57, and Piercing Sands now available. Unfortunately, that does not grant bonus damage or quest stacks. So, it's good, but it's very much a committing to getting this quest stacked eventually, when we just saw that he's about 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, still needs a little bit longer. If the game were... You know, the thing about the Chromie here, or the Jaina for that matter as well, because she has a similar mechanic, like she needs to deliver her spells in order to unlock the Ice Block. Similar to Kel'Thuzad as well. Like, if you can't have brawls over and over again, allowing you to land your abilities, you're going to have to wait a long time until your traits are going to give you value. So... KT playing a little bit safer and going for a lot of disengages and not really committing to too many fights actually benefited them in that regard.
Indeed, this is so far working out. It's at least nerfing that Chromie a little bit. Speaking of things that don't need the nerf, Bye Bye has so far received 0 value. But then again, that's like saying he took Mule and got no value, therefore it's the wrong pick. It's a... He hasn't needed it, so therefore he's playing well enough, and it doesn't matter.
Exactly. The team is playing well enough, so the defensive talent that Chromie has at her disposal isn't even needed. And even then, you could still argue that if there's a long skirmish without anyone dying, Chromie's out of mana, Bye Bye could get some value because she's going to be much faster at rejoining the battle and refilling her mana.
At least so far, Bye Bye is getting more value than Here and There would, because so far not even stacked.
Oh,
big damage on the Alarak, lovely counter-strike.
Yeah, the Counter-Strike didn't really get that much damage, and I thought Lunara might actually die to it, but I think it was slightly misaimed here. Now, on the other hand, KT needs to send a couple of members back. They need to depush this top lane, otherwise the Catapults are going to do terrible, terrible things to their core. And of course, RPG is going to capitalize on that. They're sending ETC soaking the bottom, they're going to send Malfurion soaking in the middle, and they're so close to 20, so close to getting yet another Punisher, and this might be lights out and game over if they get it.
That's the commitment. They're going straight for the end game here. They want level 20 and this Punisher at the same time, way before the enemy team have a chance. And as such, KT making their play while they still can. Twilight Dream, pretty decent. And these slowing sands, so good. Unfair advantage. Just ticking up the green. See it get sniped. And the push continues. Screw the Punisher now. They're going straight for it. Marsh not even needed. Down goes Alarak. Genshwell's dropped. T-Die is fleeing for his life, the last surviving member. Uh-oh, here comes Infinity, chunks him down. No escape, 1v1. Chromie versus the Angel. As T-Die grabs a fountain, and it looks like Infinity's given up, and is just going to rotate through the mid lane, and through the little gap between the two keeps, and is going to go for the core with the rest of his team.
Yeah, RPG's on the core here. Why does Chromie Q the core? Well, because she wants to have additional auto-attack damage from the Bronze Talons. Beautifully done here. RPG just dominating that game. And you once again might ask yourselves, why didn't you play like that in game number 1? Why did you go for a weird double support comp that didn't work at all? Why couldn't you have gone for your comfort picks in game number 1? Well, we'll never find out because we can't do player interviews. KT, unfortunately, they dropped the ball. They could not take this game, and they do not get 3 points as a result. And as another result, both teams are going to get, they're going to stay fairly close to each other. Nothing's changed in the overall standings.
Indeed, actually, very little has changed at all in the overall standings, actually. RPG stay in last. Actually, they get 1 point. Hot's Lady lost to BTG. Okay, so RPG are now tied in last place with Hot's Lady. KT, they move up 1. They don't overtake Soa, though. Because Soa also got 1 point. Soa and the 1 stay in the exact same configuration. So if Challenge and SPT won 1, then the entire bracket will be the exact same, except now RPG and Hot Lady will have the exact same points.
Wow.
That's the only difference.
And what on paper looked like one of the most exciting playdays could have been one of the most boring playdays in terms of raw results, right?
I was about to say lies and flim-flam. We have had some spectacular games.